Aloha, shamans and wise ones, and welcome to our little corner of the galaxy here in this dimensional space called EarthStar Spiritual Center in Greensboro, North Carolina, United States of America. Today is Monday, October 14th, 2024. Our topic is Taoism as we continue with WEI or the flow state. And today we're in Part 5 with Miss Evangeline. So I'll be your host today, Dale Stacy. I'm a Co-Abbot with my wife, Jeannie, of EarthStar Spiritual Center. So Evangeline, thank you so very much for joining us today. So how's everything going?
It's so wonderful. It's an exciting time to be on planet Earth.
Yes, it is. And Evangeline, just to let folks know about her in case you've lived on the rock for a few years. So Evangeline is an intuitive healer. She is a shamanic life coach, a shaman. She's a teacher. She's an author, a podcaster. She has her own church, Evangeline Ministries, and she is based also here in the Triad region of North Carolina. Anything else I missed, Evangeline, you want people to know about?
That sounds good to me.
Yes, and of course, she is a galactic Pisces. So that means she is very sensitive, very empathic and intuitive, and her vibrations of aloha or living aloha, it's in anything and everything that she's involved with. So thank you, Evangeline, for being this beautiful emissary of living aloha and this aloha consciousness, especially in this most important time being on Earth and for the ascension of humanity. So it's a wonderful time to be alive. So thank you for sharing your wonderful and beautiful wisdom today about being in WEI or the flow state.
Flow state, baby. That's what a Pisces lives for.
That's it. That's what I want to hear. That's right. Good. All right. Well, let's go to our slides and we'll just get started. Okay. All right. So it is October 14th, 2024. Yes, October already. Goodness. So this is the flow state or WEI. Oh, got a canine in the background. How wonderful.
Yeah, forgive me. 1 second.
Okay, good. They want to be part of the program. That's great. So Evangeline will take care of that. We'll go through some initial things. So this is part 5. So if you would like to see the other episodes, parts 1 through 4, just check out our EarthStar Spiritual Center YouTube channel. And you'll find the part 1 is with Margot. Part 2 is with Tiare. Part 3 is with Heidi, and part 4 is with Amanda. So today will be part 5. Wonderful, outstanding. And we are EarthStar Spiritual Center. We are a multi-faith church with Living Aloha, and we've been doing this since 2002. Our core ideals are Aloha, or all-loving God, love, oneness, heart path, and as above, so below. And you can check out our EarthStar Spiritual Center YouTube channel. We have some meditations on there. And also for all the live presentations, make sure you click on the live tab. And that way you can follow up on all the live topics that we have, either with Simply Shaman or with our energy healing sessions. And these are some of the books that we have written and available on Shamanism if you'd like. You can find the links to those in the show notes. Also, you can find them on Amazon. And for those of you who are budding authors and you want to find a way to get your materials published, click on the link in the show notes for EarthStar Publishing or go to the website and see if we can help you with that. And Evangeline also has 2 books that she's written. And one is True Calling, a wonderful book about if you're an energy worker, a massage therapist, any type of energy healing. That's a wonderful philosophical how-to book, especially written with the business sense behind it. So thank you for doing True Calling, Evangeline. And when was that you wrote that book?
Let's see. I published it in 2019.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, good. And then also Evangeline has a wonderful chapter in the book, Energy Solutions, right?
Yes, the energy medicine solution. And by the time I did that collaboration, I knew there's a science behind hacking that algorithm to make your book go to a #1 bestseller in at least 1 category. But that book went to #1 in 12 categories because we had such an outpouring of support, of leaving reviews at certain times. That's what I like for any healers who want to publish books to realize is there's just a whole science behind it. There's tricks to the trade. And I didn't know any of that in 2019. I was just teaching myself and learning it as I went. And then my book went to #1 in the massage therapy category on Amazon without me knowing how to do that. So that was really exciting.
Wonderful. And also some of the things you do in your Pisces time is you're also very big in working on people and helping them with their business marketing. Tell us a little bit about that. Anything?
Oh, yes. I love to help healers take their work to the world and scale their businesses and really work through and transmute any fears they have about the business side of things, because I've got the heart of a healer, but the mind of an entrepreneur. And so I love that entrepreneur spirit. And that's what the shutdown of 2020 was for me, because I wanted to take my work online and I did not know how to do that at all. And all I had ever done is be in a nice, darkened, cozy room and have my hands on people's bodies. That was what I knew how to do. That's what I'd been doing my entire adult life. And so it was terrifying to me to learn the digital world. And I thought, hey, if I can do that, if I can transmute my fears of technology so that my reach and my community can grow and I can help more people, that's what I wanted to learn. And that's what I did so that I could help other people do that.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I have Evangeline's contact info in the show notes. But is there a specific place they can go to find out more information about like the marketing business? Where would that be?
Well, they can go to evangelinehemrick.com, where I have my mentorship program, which would be the easiest place to start. It's the most cost-effective way to work with me. So I do one-on-one coachings, but the group mentorship, that is an ongoing monthly course, and it's just building on energy healing foundational principles of like all the things that you and I are into in terms of that person finding their unique magic, their offerings, and their medicine that is not like anybody else's.
Wonderful, outstanding. And so you can see that now that you know Evangeline and you know some of the things she's doing, you know that she is definitely flowing and being in the flow state and all these wonderful galactic hats that she wears here in this 3D dimension we call a Mother Earth. So thank you for having that kind of ministry, that kind of healing, and that kind of presence, Evangeline. Thank you so very much, because it is much needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get to our lesson today then. So Taoism, let's go over some basic slides just to make sure we're on the same sheet of music. Make sure we understand what flow state is so we consider those parameters. So let's start with Taoism then, or the Tao. Now the Taoism, it's pronounced, the T sound is we don't say Tao, it's Tao. Just like when you say the word butter, you know, butter is butter, but we don't say butter, right? We say butter. So it's got a D sound. So same thing with Tao or Taoism. So it literally means the way or the path. Okay? So one of my favorite quotes from the Tao-Te-Ching is, empty yourself of everything. Let the mind rest at peace. Returning to the source is stillness, which is the way of nature. And that's Tao-Te-Ching, book 16. Okay? So stillness and being in the natural flow. Okay? Let that be our foundation for today. Okay, now let's go over some Oriental definitions for Wu-Wei, a Chinese word. Literally means no action or not to act. Also can mean emptiness. Now we'll go over what the Western definition of that is, because in the West we think emptiness means we're not doing anything. We're sitting on the couch in our holy gray sweatpants eating a tub of ice cream, right? Or being aloof, or just being useless. No, that's not what that means. Okay? Because, you know, in the Oriental perspective, being on the couch in those holy sweatpants, eating chocolate ice cream is doing something, right? You're doing all those things. So just a different way of thinking of that. And also nothingness or effortless action. Okay? Another Oriental definition of Wu-Wei is being in alignment with nature or the natural order of things. Being in the now, or having a presence in the now, right here and now, fully being in the present, in mind, body, and spirit. And then being able to release attachments, not concerning ourselves with ego control. Okay? So that would be more of an Oriental perspective of Wu-Wei. Got two little pictures here for you. Let me put on my specs. One to the left here is to understand nothing takes time. Oh, how beautiful that is. And then the one on the right. When your energy vibrates at a frequency that is within direct alignment to what the universe has been attempting to deliver your entire life, you begin to live in the flow and true miracles start to happen. Yes, they do. Okay, good. All right, continue with the Western perspective again. Think instead of emptiness, then, think of that word as being openness, letting go of ego, letting go of control, intellect, emotions, or anything that hinders an open mind. So really being open to anything and everything, allowing the flow of the universe to happen. Another perspective, to align and allow the natural course of events. An example would be, are you going to be raking leaves on a windy day? Well, you're probably going to be very ineffective unless you just like raking leaves and like being outdoors. That's fine. Okay? Swimming against the current. Okay? Or maybe you're trying to work, but actually you need rest. And you notice that when you are working, you really aren't getting anything done. You're not very efficient, not very effective. And it almost takes 2 to 3 times to do something that when you're in the flow, you notice you're doing about half the time. And plus, you do it with joy. And it's very enjoyable working that way. Okay? Another perspective, simple, spontaneous courses of action without attachments. And there you see in parentheses, I have the word control. So trying to allow the ego to control any and every aspect of what we're doing and who we are. We're trying to micromanage because we have a specific outcome we'd like to achieve. And when we do that, we're taking away from the many avenues that the universe can provide for us. Because remember, the universe or life or love only wants success for each and every one of us. So watch out for that control, that micromanaging of events in your life. Bruce Lee with a wonderful quote, empty your cup so that it may be filled. You know, if we go around with a full teacup, we can't receive any more tea from anyone else. So just think of this teacup as a metaphor for all the help and support you could have from other people, having their input, asking for their help, allowing them to provide mind, body, and spirit inputs to you to help you to create something even better. But if our teacup is full, if our ego is full, then we're not going to receive, hear, or understand anything anyone else says or what nature says it tries to teach us. Okay? So make sure you empty that teacup. Another perspective from the Western, striving less to generate more. In other words, no stress, pure joy in what we're doing, because we know that what we're doing is our unique expression of our one infinite creator. And this is why we're here on earth in this 3D form to do this particular task in the very unique way that we can do it. So no stress with that. And once we do that, then you'll be able to receive something that is much better than you had planned if we will just get out of our own way, that ego. Okay? Now, what are some examples of that? Yeah, overthinking, fear, indecision, emotions, lack of confidence, and empowerment. These are all the things that come along with our micromanaging, and it will get in the way of creating something even much better. And once we are aligned with the natural course of events in nature and with our creation, with our destiny, with our Aloha living, our Aloha consciousness, you're going to find that you enter this beautiful arena of coincidences and serendipities. Okay? And when we're there, we just have to make sure that we are calm, because if we're all up, if we're up in our ego, then when these wonderful things happen to us, we're not even going to notice. So just be calm so that we can realize. Okay? All right, so now that we have a nice Oriental and a Western perspective, we can move to some of the questions. And then just one more slide, one of probably my favorite Western, the Lonesome Dove series. But in the sequel to the main series, Texas Ranger Gideon Walker was quoting Captain Gus McCrae in Return to Lonesome Dove, season 1, episode 1. And little did we know that Lonesome Dove was going to teach us about being in the flow, about WEI. Okay? And that is, and what Gus says is, you got to keep flowing where the force of nature takes you. So how wonderful that we can use that to allow our destiny to evolve so that we can be that unique expression of our one infinite creator. And now some wisdom from Evangeline. And we'll have 7 questions for her. And now some of the answers may overlap and some of the questions do, but that's okay. Listen to it from another perspective. Okay. All right, Evangeline, are we ready?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Question number 1. How do you define flow state in your life and reality?
I love it that you had serendipities in the slideshow, because definitely for me, flow is living in those miracles, living in the synchronicities, and they happen more and they happen quicker the more emptying we've done. And I love that definition of the flow state, of just the emptiness. The greatest miracles in my life happen when I completely empty.
Yes.
Whether it's shavasana on a yoga mat and I'm just nothingness in that moment, and then all the insights and the aha moments can pour into me. And that happens if I'm sitting in church holding Steve's hand just as easily as it happens lying on a yoga mat in a shavasana ending meditation. The not doing and emptying the cup allows all of that magic to flow in. And what I find, Dale, is I think back to, I studied Reiki with you over 20 years ago. I began with Reiki level 1. I think it was 2001.
Yes.
Okay, so 23 years ago, we would take time to go learn energy work. We would carve out of this like density that we lived in, of all
Yes.
of the chaos and all the things that were piled on top of us that were not us. And we would put this time aside to just do it. And it felt like what they refer to as a Sunday Christian, you know?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
somebody who only thinks about spiritual things when they go to church. That was how we all began at whatever level. We began with this stuff, with energy healing. And now where we're at in flow state is, this is our life.
Yes.
This is every moment of our day. So if it's working with the energy of the water that we're getting ready to make our blood, and the water that's getting ready to become who we are, the consciousness of God in the water, if we're praying over our food, anything we're doing now in flow state is energy work.
That's great. Yes, flow state is energy work. Oh, wonderful, wonderful tidbit to leave people with that. Oh, thank you. Great answer. And that was just the first one. Goodness, such wisdom. Okay. All right, let's go to, and I love serendipities too, because, I think your dad always said serendipities, didn't he? He used that word a lot.
He loved that word.
Yeah. Yes. So whenever I hear or say serendipity, I always think of your dad. So it's one of wonderful memories with that. All right, number 2 then. How do you create or stay in a flow state, whether we're in mental or mind or a body in the physical or the spiritual side of who you are? How do you create or stay in this flow state?
I love this question, because this is what we do. Because I feel like you and Jeannie and the work that I do, all the people that you're interviewing, all of these wise, beautiful souls that are coming forward with all of their experience of this, we're all doing this. We're working with the miracle workers. Okay. So it doesn't matter if we call them shamans, coaches, facilitators, teachers, healers, you name it. You can put whatever English word you want to put for the miracle workers of the world. That's our people that we teach and that we hold space for. So teaching all the different modalities and techniques that we all do, and there's so many cultural backgrounds with all this stuff, so many different ways you could approach it. Finding our go-to ways of being in flow state is the key. Because for me, it's just been this lifelong journey since I was in massage school in 1995 figuring this out for myself, because I think this is such a personal process. And so that's my life's work. That's what I love to do, is bring people home to them. And there's not one way of doing that. It could be an energy healing modality. It could be a movement practice like Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, Pilates. It could be your breath work as a practice, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things. It's all of the above. And for me, that's all my life's work. So that's when I realized that I needed the mentorship program, because I was like, breath work, that's a big part of coming home to yourself and remembering your divinity and who you are on the inside. Movement, gotta have it. Anybody who wants to be a healer and be really, really good at, I don't care if it's massage, if it's energy healing, it doesn't matter. You got to have that movement practice. You've got to have that meditation and breath work in motion. So that's a huge piece of it. And then there's meditation. What could we do? Could we do all of these different techniques and skill sets without being able to quiet and empty and meditate? So for me, that's my life, is all of these things.
I'd say that pretty much fills up your day then, if you're doing all that. My goodness, wonderful. Thank you. Lots of specific things there. Thank you so much for that. And so as you think about, do you have a favorite thing that you would do mentally, or a favorite thing physically, or a favorite thing spiritually you do? Or is yours a combination of things like you just said?
It's definitely a combination, and some more than others during the week, but there's no way that I could see as many clients as I do a week for remote healing sessions, and all the distance energy work that I do, and all the coaching, and then also teaching energy healing and shamanic perspectives to other people. I could not do that without breath work. I could not be good at anything I do without having a regular meditation practice, and that's every day. It's extremely rare that both of those things don't happen in my day. And movement. It's gotta be. And we look at the animals, like we were saying about when we would go into your Reiki class back then, and we're like, okay, we're doing energy work right now. It's sort of like how Qigong or yoga, whatever movement practice you have, it eventually just becomes who you are.
Yes.
It's not something that you set aside the time to go try to be. And the animals teach us that. Like they know how to breathe, they know how to stretch and move. That is what I feel like we're finally coming to in these new frequencies that we're able to hold as the earth changes. This is who we are. This is our life. This isn't something we like put on a hat and be sometimes, because I'll never forget when we were way back in a lower density. I took A.L.O.H.A coaching training in 2006, and I had never meditated that much as that week-long training program in Orlando, Florida. And we were meditating for a full hour in the morning and a full hour at night. I had never sat still that long. As a massage therapist, it was just like bouncing all around and super full of energy. If it's a dance event or something, if it's like ecstatic dance or shamanic trance dance, and I need those things, I will say that for me personally is a big part of my own personal flow state. I don't do that as much as I want, and I can feel it when I don't. I do not have the vibrancy in my energetic field. I do not have the glow. And it definitely brings me more joy when I'm dancing, because that's just super important for my soul. But here I was, not used to sitting still that long. We're back in 2006 in A.L.O.H.A course, and I could not believe how my clairvoyant abilities accelerated after that week of that much intense meditation. I came back to seeing clients the next week, and I was like, whoa, like the things that before that I would have to do to really get myself there and to really activate my own superpowers, it was just there. And the only difference is that regular meditation practice to like open up my abilities. And Tony Robbins always says, if you can't meditate 5 minutes, you need 3 hours.
Standing. Wow, what a great coverage on that particular question and perspective. So gives people some tips and techniques they can use for mind, body, and spirit. And those who are listening to this on replay, remember to adapt this question and adapt the things that Evangeline just shared. Find a way to try and adapt these to your way of living, okay? And find your own unique way of doing that. Okay? So thank you, Evangeline. I love that breath work stuff, and love that dancing for the soul. That's great. All right, number 3. How much time do you devote to your flow state daily?
This does overlap into the other one, because I want everyone to understand that it does have to be unique to your lifestyle. Because I'll give you a little background on me. Before I was inserted into an already made family, and all of a sudden I was in custodianship to a 7-year-old, and then I had 2 stepchildren, and this all happened all of a sudden. My life, when it was just me and my dog and my clients, it was completely devoted to service. So if your life is structured in that way, where you know you're a medicine man or woman and you're here to be on the healer's path, this is your livelihood, this is your life's work, then it's career longevity, it's job security that you do flow state practices. You can't do this for a living, all these things, whether you're being a good massage therapist or breathwork teacher, meditation teacher, coach, shamanic practitioner, energy worker. You can't do those and make a living and not have this type of lifestyle. That they just go together. So my life, and I'm very thankful to say that, was totally devoted to my well-being so that I could serve others. That's the way that my whole day revolved around: when I ate, when I exercised, how I meditated. And boy, did I get an awakening into the matrix of what most people go through in life, when all of a sudden I was still trying to be me and I was still trying to be in flow state, and I was taking a kid to basketball games and soccer practice, and I was inserted into consumer culture in a way that I had never had to do, because I started living this way really after I sold my 2 spas. And that was like one of my greatest flow state examples that I want to give you all too, of those magical synchronicities and manifestations. I want to tell you all that story too about how I sold the spa. But once I sold those businesses, I committed myself fully to living well and to being able to serve at my fullest capacity. So then, boom, I'm dropped down in the matrix of fast food, and there wasn't any way I could come into this family just guns a-blazing, like, pow, 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 you got to change this, you can't do that, and this is poisonous food, and hey, why is there no time for families to be together? Like, why is this schedule so? And so it was a real challenge to find my flow state when I got inserted into a new and different life. And that was the lesson at that time.
Yeah, so really, so you're letting folks know that really it's just a way of living, right? It's not something you make an appointment to be, well, I'm going to be in the flow state for this next 15 minutes, right? It is really who you are, and that's how you live life. You are flow state, always flowing. And I can imagine after you had to interject new family members, becoming a parent, now you had to plug that into your little flow state, almost like you're this beautiful river flowing, and now you've got these extra creeks that have now dumped their water into your little river, and you have to make adjustments for that, and you did it wonderfully, and you have a special knack and skill for that now, because you have a beautiful family. So yes, well, thank you for doing that and devoting your life into really daily and hourly and just about every second living to be in the flow state. So thank you for that.
And Dale, I'll add to that. My son and I joke now that we have to jump into that sort of fake world and out of the flow state sometimes with, here we are. Yes. Here we are getting ready to go to NC State open house next weekend, and he's preparing for college, and he did his SATs. And now I have such a such a different perspective on all that institutionalized learning and all these control systems. So it's a weird dance in between the worlds. And I know a lot of you listening are can relate to that, because if you've got a kid in the system that's being educated in that way, and that you're showing them the real world, it's like it's this dance of, we just have to laugh at this and we have to play some of these games in this old world that is slowly going to deconstruct, but it hasn't yet. And that definitely has gotten better for me. But I want everybody out there, when you're committing to creating your own flow state, have a lot of grace and a lot of compassion for yourself and for
Yes.
everyone around you.
Yes, indeed. Definitely. I'm glad he's going to be a wolf packer. Yeah, go wolf pack. Wonderful. And I know I was going to promote later on, put the show on, but Patricia, you've joined us now. So thank you so much for being here with us today. So hope you're having a wonderful week. Thank you, beautiful person. Good. All right. Outstanding. Number 3. Okay. So we're at the 31-minute mark, Evangeline, just to let you know. So we're doing great. All right. Number 4. Any special ceremonies, mantras, or rituals that you do in order to enhance your flow state?
Yes. I was trying to figure out how in the world I would I would narrow that down, because I do feel like life is a ceremony, life is a prayer when you live in flow state, and ceremonies are so important to me. And so coming into that busyness of raising kids and being out there in the world more than I had been used to, my ceremonies and rituals were like mental health therapy for me. And I would say to anyone, a ceremony of one, a ritual of one, it doesn't have to be a big elaborate process that you wait and you try to overanalyze and all that. It can truly be you and a flower, you and a body of water, you and a candle and that flame, and the fact that you're going to honor that entire life of that flame from the minute that you light that candle, you're going to be with that flame for its entire life. And just the gratitude that can come of seeing that life all the way through, and how that flame might want to work with you and teach you. That's the simplicity that I love of ceremony. And Dale, you have just been you and Jeannie both, such a great inspiration for me in the impact that ceremony has in our lives when it's done from the heart and from intention. It's not that old stuff that we used to see of like ho hum, graduation, walking down the aisle. It's like you really coming home. It's another way, just like we said, all those healing modalities are a way to come home to you. That's how I use flower mandalas. I make medicine wheels a lot. Medicine wheels are containers for my prayers. So it gives my prayers somewhere to be, and it's beautiful, and I get to enjoy it. Other people get to enjoy it. And I had an action step, which is so shamanic, to have inspired action to put my prayers, my focus, write the names of the people that I'm praying for and put them underneath a seashell or a crystal, adorn it with flowers. And then the coolest thing that's come from my flower medicine wheels, because I call myself a flower shaman. That's something that I just realized I totally am, when I really connected with the archetypal energy of an Aztec goddess, Shoki Quetzal. She is me. Like that's my essence. She's the goddess of flowers. She has a lot to do with death and processing death in a positive way, bringing death positivity back into our culture. So Shoki Quetzal is just really with me in the flower mandala medicine wheel work that I do. And what ended up happening, which is one of these flow states, I could have never dreamed that people all over the United States were going to take a virtual course with me, get shipped a box of flowers and crystals, and together we were all going to make these prayer portals on the earth, which to me is like bringing back that old wisdom of what the medicine wheels used to be doing. And they were astronomy labs, they were portals, they were carrying all this information and energy. And I've got these women from all walks of life that are sending me their photos, and they're on Zoom with me going, look at my prayer portal, look at my flower mandala. And I was like, I could have never dreamed that was going to happen. That came from the emptying.
Okay, so many things you're doing with all that. Yeah, those beautiful, those flower mandalas you do. I know they're just beautiful when you post those. So thank you so much for brightening up and elaborating those wonderful ceremonies from Mother Earth. That's always nice. And I know Mother Earth enjoys all that energy you put into that. I love you being a flower shaman. Yes, that's definitely one of the things you do. And also you brought up something else you do is you have sessions or classes on death doula, right? I mean, those who got videos and audios people can listen to and watch that and learn how to be a death doula if they want to do that. So another one of your galactic hats that you wear. Very good.
And I want to say too about the ceremony. This is such we could talk all day on question number 4. I mean, honestly, so much I want to say. But how you pray, let how you pray be a work of art. I pray with dance. I pray with flowers. There is no specific way that you have to pray and center yourself to connect with Great Spirit. There's no right way to do that. But I think the most beautiful thing is finding your way that's so unique to your own style.
Yes, exactly. That unique expression. As far as mantras, I know you're very eclectic with all the things you study and you practice, Evangeline. Are there any special mantras that are a go-to for you that you enjoy to use?
Oh, my mom and I were having a conversation this morning that seems relevant for me to share with you all, because she was saying, I want the most powerful affirmation for breaking any generational lineage curses around not deserving wealth or money being bad. Anything is a block to prosperity. Mom just asked me this morning, and I said, okay. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I said, later when I can meditate on this, because that's what I'll tell people, many times when they ask me, the greatest thing you can say when you're facilitating and teaching is, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. I'll feel it. Let me feel it instead of just give you something from this little part of my conscious mind. Let me feel into that. So I said to her, let me send you a whole bunch of different potential proclamations, affirmations, spells, whatever, prayers, whatever you want to call them. And then you got to feel it in your bones. Because when one of these comes out through that vibrational portal of creation and manifestation of your throat center, one of these is going to be the one, and you're going to have to tweak it. And I think it's a technology. I really do. I think there's an art to speaking life to what we create, since this is our 5D manifestation portal right here. But you got to work at it. You got to it's a skill set that you have to practice it. When people say like, oh, affirmations don't work, I'm like, it could just be the affirmations that you're trying on for size aren't aligned with your vibration, because you haven't put in the time to learn how to create effectively.
Oh, that's a biggie, aligning with your vibration. Oh my goodness. Yes, indeed. That's why words, like you said, are so very important. Because, you may say a word, but when you think about it, well, actually there's another word. If I could just think of it, it's even better. So, so those vibrations are very important, those vibrations and frequencies, especially where we are now in our ascension cycle, where we're headed and where we're going to be. Wonderful on that one. All right, number 5 then. Any examples of being in the flow state when it comes to manifesting a reality? So whenever you want to create or manifest something, is there a specific flow that you would have with your flow state to help you with this manifesting?
I've been thinking about this a lot, because we're accelerating in the way we do this. Do you remember in The Secret movie when they were like, this is why you can't think about an elephant, and boom, an elephant pops into your living room? That's because of the dimensional space that we were in, because that absolutely can happen. As I'm sure many of you out there are starting to see that your thoughts are rapidly creating your experience. And that's a tall order. If your thoughts have been junk, if we've been allowing our thoughts to just be controlled by outside forces, once again, it's a skill set. It's an art form. It's like anything you have to train in and be very disciplined in. But I think back to when I was so random about it and it would happen and I wouldn't be as strategic and mindful as I am about it right now. But one of them, well, there's so many, and there's so many that I could share about money and specific amounts of money that would come. That there was no doubt, there was absolutely no doubt that that was manifestation, and I was creating that reality, and it was being shown back to me over and over again. But a big one in my life is I was burnt out with running my day spa, and I had 16 employees, and I had had this really altruistic vision that was big, bigger than I was. I couldn't up level vibrationally to the vision that I had. I wasn't even 30 years old yet. I was 28, and I said a really heartfelt prayer on my knees in complete surrender. So it was finally I was to that emptying point of like, I want to teach and I want to have healing sessions. I don't want to babysit 16 employees. I don't want to do that with my time anymore, but I don't know the way out of this. So I really did just give it over in the most surrendering prayer I think I had accomplished up to that point in my life. And everything happened so fast after that prayer of a woman who was a regular customer in my spa approached me less than 48 hours after that prayer and said, "Hey, I'd like to go in with you and open a third spa location. Would you be interested in going into business with me?" And I said, "Nope, but you can buy this one." Ha ha ha. And she was the owner in this was October 6th. She was the owner November 15th. That was how fast all of that took place, and I sold that business, and I had no way of knowing how that was all gonna work out, and I feel like all of you that wanna write books and you wanna hold retreats and you see these big visions for things that have not happened yet, you don't have to have every piece of that. You don't have to know the steps that are gonna happen. You do have to totally surrender to that flow state and allow great spirit source to flow things and work things out and draw the helpful people to you that'll make it happen. So I
That's
can give you more if we have time. I've
oh,
got funny ones too.
see that's great to think that you were able to manifest the selling of a business like that and going to a good person to take it over. That's just great. Once you decided to just let go and allow the universe to help with your creation, it just happened. You got out of the way. So
And
that's wonderful.
I went from all those things you listed that are not wu-wei, all those things of like the chaos, the trying to overthink it, trying to come up with it. And I even had that experience just last week with trying to figure out where we were going with all these supplies for hurricane relief.
Yes.
And it was all up here in my head, and I wasn't in that flow state because it's not like we as human beings just are at the point where we're always in it. We have to remind ourselves, "Oh, let me come home." And as soon as I came home and as soon as I prayed, everything worked itself out for our delivery shipment to Swananoa. Every single door opened wide, and we received a huge gift from being able to connect with these beautiful people in Swananoa. It was exactly where we needed to be, and I'd been trying to take us to Boone the whole time.
It's just, and I like the part you said too about so many people get tied up in trying to figure out every single step of the process, and again, like we mentioned earlier, their teacup is full, and they don't want to allow the universe to give them more tea. So, yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. Okay. Yes, outstanding stuff. There, great wisdom on manifesting our reality. All right, number 6 then. How does your flow state, and I know this may be a kind of a repeat question too, but who knows, we'll have a different perspective with it. How does your flow state align with living aloha?
I've never been to anything like this. We went to a town hall meeting last night here in Kernersville, and I'm really rethinking and realigning my positioning as a spiritual person on being involved in mundane political things. I was raised with that whole spiritual people don't get involved. Like, just that's for the self-serving, egoic ones, to run for office and do things like that. And here I am at 50 years old going, oh, I'm seeing that very differently. And so this little town meeting last night, because I'm married to an earth angel who he just wants to help, and his
Yeah.
sincere desire to serve. There would be no better public servant in this town than my partner. But always before that resistance was there of no, because I'm not one of those kind of people. And I think so many of the good people, they don't even consider running for office or anything like that. So we were at this town meeting last night. There were some beautiful congressmen, mayors, people from different places that were on a panel, and they were asking the community to just give us your questions. Let's talk. We want to connect with the good people that really want to help everybody. And so it was a beautiful experience for me because it was a very new experience, and it makes me think of that living aloha, because one question that was brought up was by a Christian who said, I don't know if having a political sign in my yard would be a good witness for the way that I believe and the way that I want to serve and I want to love everybody. And they got into that conversation of not being in somebody's face. One of them, I think it was I can't remember. It was one of the congressmen. He said, "Do you want to be right, or do you want to make a difference?" And I loved that so much. And to me, that is living aloha, of like how much of an impact we saw these four guys the other night in a restaurant praying. And I don't know what their religious affiliation was. I don't care. They were young men and they were coming together to do something for a community event. I don't know what they were working on. They were having a planning meeting. They didn't have a lot of money. They were like young college kids. And we overheard them say, "What's the cheapest thing on the menu?" And we're just kind of tuned into these guys. Well, the waitress walks up to the table and goes, "Do y'all like your food? Did you get everything you need?" And these young men go, "We would love to pray for you as we bless our food. What can we pray for you about?" And the whole restaurant just stopped, and they changed the whole atmosphere in the place. She was gobsmacked. She didn't even know what to say. She was like, uh, and she said, "My son just got his driver's license. Could you pray for his safety?" And you could tell she was so taken aback. And I was like, that's how quickly that living aloha can change the entire, everybody in that restaurant was changed. And Steve brought her over and said, "I want to buy their dinner." And it had already been done. Another lady on the other side had already picked up the check.
Right.
But to me, that's that alignment of everybody in that restaurant left differently in a different vibrational space because of what those young men did. And that's how I choose to live my life. I want to remember that I can make a difference in every single setting. I don't have to worry about being right and being in the ego. I want to make that difference, everybody who ever comes in contact with my energy field.
Oh, how beautiful. Yes, making a difference. And it's amazing how once we use that love and aloha to fill a space, it's amazing how people are able to attach to that and allow it to be part of their life too. So yeah, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that in this. Okay, and then number 7. Let's give you a chance, Evangeline, if you want to do any other tips we didn't talk about, or and how do you integrate a flow state with mind, body, and spirit in your reality? Any other things come up? Anything else you want to talk about, the spa and the business and how you created that and used that, and how you can relate the flow state to any of that?
Gosh, you better tell me how much time I have to
Actually,
talk.
we're at 50 minutes now.
Okay.
But that's okay. We've already told people you're a Pisces, so that's okay. We know you got things to say.
Well, how do I integrate mind, body, spirit? I'm very into, I really believe in developing your intuition. A lot of people will say when they get into this or that on social media and like, I did my research, whether it's food and controversial things about what we're supposed to be eating, or everything else that is turned into something that divides people. And I'll hear a lot of people say, like, you better do your research. It's like, I think you better develop your intuition too, because what is good for you to eat one day will not be supportive to your body the next day. If everybody's all up in here, this is not where it's at. This is thinking about how we connect with God, how we eat, how we exercise. We can get so stuck in just a mental construct of that, where it's like, what does your body want for that day? Maybe your body doesn't want to do the same workout routine every single day. And so I love developing intuition in every single way. With my students, we work on those 6 clairs. And so the 6 clairs: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairalience, and clairgustance. You're even tasting energy, you're smelling energy, clairsentience, like knowing which one of these is your superpowers. Because I love how you delve so deeply into helping people discover their superpowers and identify what their gifts are. That's where to start. That's how you really start to integrate mind, body, spirit, because you're understanding that we are not one size fits all. And so there's so much information you can take in that can make somebody just overwhelmed if they're staying in their head about what supplements should I be taking, or, oh, what food should I be eating, and how do I know what is the best exercise program? How you know is to just have this direct, loving relationship with your body, with your mind, and with your spirit, and to listen to it. And the only way to do that is to do everything we've talked about before. But I don't want people being overwhelmed about all that too, because I'm at 30 years of this being my life's work. And I am happy that I got more in the matrix side of things raising Austin, because it showed me, if you're not doing this for a living, and if you haven't devoted your entire life to feeling as good as you can feel, because that's the thing, my friends, if you want to see clients, if you want to lead other people into wholeness and well-being, you have to feel good. That's how we raise our vibration. The biggest work you could do, the highest work you could do, and Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks says this all the time. What makes you feel good? That's going to raise your vibration. That takes time too, to figure that out. But I would say that integrating a flow state with mind, body, spirit is learning the best, easiest go-to ways for you to feel amazing are going to get you there. And it's definitely a long, slow game. It's not going to be a quick fix. I learn about myself every single day, and I see where I self-abandon still. And then I come home. I come home to my love and my power and my knowing, and things are going to throw us off. There's no way around that, but you just don't stay there. Flow state helps you continually get back into alignment.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much for that. That's a wonderful a review to give us the big picture of just feeling great. And then if people will go back and listen to the replay, listen to all the little pearls of wisdom that Evangeline espoused upon us. So remember, the goal here is just to feel great, because if you feel great, that is your natural state and you're on the flow state. So go back and listen and take notes, more detailed notes about anything that you heard today from Evangeline. And I've got her contact email or contact info in the show notes. So you can contact her for any other additional shamanic coaching in any way, because you have certainly given us a lot to think about today. And also you offered quite a bit. So that was a rather large basket of wisdom that people can dig into. And I hope they will for years to come, because this is on the World Wide Web now. So people can always have access to that. Well, let me just go over a general review that we did, and then I'll go over all the things that Evangeline shared with us, so you can add that to your notes. So remember, on our review then for flow state or WEI, remember, no action is the Oriental perspective, but that actually means action or open to everything, open to everyone, everything, everywhere. Keep in mind that every single person is a portal to some sort of divine consciousness. So allow people to be in your life, to give you and to share their tea. So make sure your teacup is empty, so that you can partake of that wonderful nutrients nutritious information that they're able to share with you. Nutritious in the sense of mind, body, and spirit. Okay? Suspend the ego, control, and outcomes. Because remember, the universe is very big, as we all know or can imagine. And just think of all the perspectives the universe has. Because remember, God, Aloha, love, knows exactly who you are and knows exactly what you're trying to create and how you're trying to live life. So allow that energy to support you. So don't get in the way. Okay? And then when we do that, we can align with nature or the natural order of things. We can be in the now, which is being in the presence. Remember, that is the present to everyone. To these other portals of energy is your presence, is the present. Okay? And be patient. Remember, until you get to the point that where you're able to manifest things instantly, and you may not be at that point now because, that may be a lot of things that you said and wanted to happen that you're glad it didn't happen because that wouldn't have been very nice. Okay? And now I've got a link to a video, The Art of Doing Nothing. It's one of those after school performances, where they're writing just like with a marker and they do these beautiful illustrations. But there was a wonderful thing in there in that video, and I've got the link in the show note. I love what they said, that being in WEI, the flow state, means that the dancer becomes the dance, the poet becomes the poem, and the singer becomes the song. So take a look at that when you get a chance. And let me just go over some things that Evangeline shared with us. I'll put on my specs here. Wonderful wisdom it was. Flow is living in the miracle and serendipities. You spoke about doing yoga sometimes, the emptiness and the nothingness, the aha moments that are provided. And to you, that was just the living in the flow. That is the flow state. Staying in the flow, you do that by teaching cultural modalities, through Qigong, whether it's yoga, Pilates, or people could do Tai Chi, being mindful. You emphasize the wonderful breath work, and the movement practice, that some type of meditation and movement. So how wonderful that is. And, you seem to just say, look, just move some way, somehow, do some kind of movement, make that happen and do that in a mindful sense. A wonderful way to stay in the flow state. Let's see. Your quiet meditation time. And again, you emphasize that specialty of doing some type of breath work. So, that's a wonderful thing to do. Remember, we aren't taught very much about breath work. That's the first thing we do when we come out of mama. We take deep breath. It means we're alive, right? As far as physically, we're here breathing air again through our lungs. And then the last breath we take, that's when we make our transition. So those are two pretty big points in our life. So why aren't we talking about and teaching breathing? Because it's something we do, but most people aren't doing that to stay in the flow state. So thank you for doing that, Evangeline. As far as how much time you spent, you talked about the new frequencies that are here on the earth plane now. And for you, just dancing for the soul. You just love to do the dancing, some type of meditative movement like that. And it truly is pleasing for your soul. And also make sure we find out the flow that is unique to every person's lifestyle, because some people may not can travel around all the time. Maybe you're in bed, or maybe you have 2 or 3 jobs you're doing. Maybe you talked about a new family and children and college and church and eating fast food and going out. All these things in our lives. So find and adapt the flow state for your particular lifestyle. It's very important, because like Evangeline says, one size does not fit all. No, we're all unique expressions. I mean, we all look different, even twins, even though they're very close, but there's one's going to have a mole or something that's going to be a little bit different than the other. So everyone has a unique expression, a unique style. So find that and allow that to be your flow. Beautiful about rituals. You said life is a ceremony and life is a prayer. If you're living in the flow state, you like doing simple rituals. For instance, thinking about using flowers or candles, or focusing on the flame, doing mandalas, medicine wheels, even writing the names that go on your medicine wheels to give that extra blessing to people. using prayerful dance and definitely doing that dance and movement again. So dance and breath work, that's very big for you and your recommendation for people to find their way of praying, meditating, dancing, some type of movement, breath work. How wonderful for that. Okay. And aligning with the vibrations and helping to manifest, how your thoughts are creating these wonderful experiences. And thank you for sharing that about the guys being in the restaurant and doing the prayer and changing that whole scene with love and aloha, and how you went through that manifestation process with the selling of your business. And within a month, all that was happened. Pisces really moves fast. So that's great to be able to move that quickly. Yeah. You talked about being mindful, having strategies for life, particular for each person, surrender and prayer. Oh, it's a wonderful, right? We're getting out of the way. Just lay that out for the universe, for God, for love, and allow all that love in the universe to give that to you, to provide that for you. So thank you for that, to just surrender and prayer. Let's see. Every step is to be in flow and just really surrender to the flow, and to make sure that when you do that, you said that then that way you can just recognize it. So thank you for that. So it's very mindful that we got to be in a place of peace and stillness so that we can recognize it when it's in our life. Yeah. And you loved about talking about creating an impact and creating a vibrational space of truly making a difference. And we all can do that because we are all unique expressions of our one infinite creator. We are individual facets of this unique expression of aloha, of love. So make sure we know what that is. And that way we can truly be in the flow state, and we can share that with anyone and everyone, with people, places, and things. Okay. Anything else about that, Evangeline? And I know what you left us with was the part about feeling amazing, right? Because that is our natural way. It is our natural way to feel great, to feel amazing. And it's all these other things that get in the way that we do. That's what causes all the not feeling good. So thank you for reminding us that, to just truly feel amazing. And that way we can be in that vibration, and we can figure out what are the things we can do individually to make us feel even better each and every day, each and every step, each and every heartbeat, every breath that you mentioned in breath work, as we live our life as 3D humans right now. But remember, we're spiritual beings. We just happen to be inhabiting a 3D body. So anything you'd like to encapsulate with that, Evangeline? Thank you for that so very much.
Thank you. How fun. I love doing anything with you guys. Like it's always so inspiring and uplifting for me to co-create with you. And this is what I'm doing in my mentorship program. This is all the things that we're working on all the time. And I finally found my way of doing it. And it's taken me 4 years. And man, sometimes from 2020 to 2024, I was not in flow state. I was like, oh, I don't think I can make this the way that I want to. But I knew how free and flexible I wanted to be in that Piscean energy of it. And so I have a 7-day free trial. Like anybody who wants to come into my community, you get a week for free. You can try it out. But the thing that was really important to me, because I need flow, I need freedom. I wanted it to be cancel anytime, but it's $44 a month. So it's not ever going to be ultra expensive, because there are different levels you can work with me at different prices. But this was my heart. This was like, man, I want to get this information out in a way that is not like a deep dive, real intensive online course, and it's only 8 weeks, because I tried that. And I tried packing so much information into 8 weeks or 12 weeks. And I was like, it left me unfulfilled. So what I really wanted to say is, if you want to do something that's not been done, flow state will help you achieve that. It may take longer than you want. I certainly didn't think it was going to take me 4 years to get this portal of support and mentorship and training the way that I want it, the way that I need so much flexibility in my life to be like, come on in whenever you want, leave whenever you want. You can be here or not. It's cool. I'm doing my thing. Because it was kind of like what I was telling you about Qigong. I'm going to teach it anyway, So if there's an ant crawling across the floor, I'm good. I'm just living. I'm being me. And then 22 people walk into my first class and I'm like, what? But that's flow state. And so I have that mentorship container for you. If you want day-to-day support, I've got it in little bites. Not trying to like give everybody Thanksgiving dinner, every day. Like, here's all this information, because that's what I did at first, But I love this. I love that you're doing this. I hope that you invite us all back together on a panel.
Yes.
And I just send so much blessings to all the good work that you, Dale, and Jeannie, and all of you out there watching this are doing. I love you all.
Oh, thank you so much, Evangeline. And I'll now again just remind them, even though I have your info in the show notes, what would be the best place they can go to contact you?
My website, evangelinehemrick.com, or Facebook or Instagram. Any one of those, you can reach out to me, and it's just my name at every single place. So there it is. And I would love to connect with you and know how that I could support you in your journey.
Yes. And I love the way you teach your classes and the offerings you have, because it is very eclectic. And so for those of you out there that if you have a personality where, remember Evangeline's a water person. So using water metaphors here, if you want to go and take a class and your personality is suited for, well, I'd rather do like a little slow trickling stream. She has classes for that. But let's go to the other extreme. If you have a personality and desire that you want to literally be in the jet stream of Mother Earth, and you're just ramped up and you want to do things, yes, then you contact Evangeline, and she's got a place for you doing that, because she does these wonderful galactic ceremonies and this awareness with things. So she has this broad spectrum, this wide range of places that you can plug in. But remember, be in the flow and plug in. You got to plug in. So make sure we do that some way, somehow. So thank you, Evangeline, for being truly a beautiful person, living aloha here on planet Earth, as we all create planet aloha. So thank you so very much for that. Good. All right. Well, let's close with a beautiful Hawaiian ending with pow. So on 3, we'll clap our hands and shout pow. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pow. Good. All right. So remember, be the love in every moment. And remember, you are a portal of consciousness, of living aloha and being in the flow state to everyone you meet. So make sure you're aware of that and be in the present. Take care. Much aloha. We love y'all.